It's Talking Business, Taking Action.
And there's new ways of marketing. It's a whole new arm of marketing. There's networking and there's marketing, and they're both very important for small businesses to grow. And small businesses are having a tough time right now in this economy. Everyone's having a tough time, but especially small businesses. So I thought it was important here on a Friday to speak to Jim Malski to find out how to network to grow a small business. Why is networking so important for small businesses? Shouldn't they be selling and not networking?
Well, networking is a lead generation strategy, and before you can sell, you've got to generate the leads or the people who are interested in buying from you. That's the first step.
Okay, so that's the first step.
Right.
Can you take us through the steps?
Absolutely, absolutely. One of the things that we coach our clients on, Greg, is number one, it's lead generation. Number two, it's conversion rate. If you want more customers in your business, those are really the only ways you're going to get them, increasing your number of leads and increasing your conversion rate.
So it's a numbers game. You got to fill that pipeline, fill that funnel, and then hopefully you turn those leads into clients, right?
Absolutely, and it's not hopefully, it's tracking. You've got to track all of your activities so you know what's working and what's not.
And how do you track them? Do you use computer software, an Oracle database, Salesforce.com? What's the best way for you to track to make sure that you're networking effectively?
Yeah, how we coach
tracking those leads.
Yeah, tracking those leads. How we're coaching our clients is whatever works for you. Some businesses, business owners, and executives are very computer savvy, so they'll go to an ACT or a Salesforce.com or some software program. Others will use Excel spreadsheet. The most important thing is.
What about the good old 3x5 card? Does that work?
And you can use whatever works for you, so that you can look back at your activity and say, "Hey, this networking event was a good one. I've gone to this one 3 or 4 times, and I really haven't clicked." So you can maximize the value of your time, right?
You write about something in ActionCOACH, which is called a networking kit. What exactly is a networking kit?
A networking kit is something that will help you be prepared in the event that you meet someone who is seriously interested in your business. That networking kit, first and foremost, should have your business cards in it. But then also any other information, like perhaps a personal bio, perhaps cards on upcoming events that you're running to promote your business, or upcoming promotions that you have to generate leads for yourself as well. So anything where you can share information about your company, about you, is what's in a kit.
The way you describe it, there's lots of events involved when it comes to networking. How do you make sure you're not spreading yourself too thin? You're going to cocktail parties, you're really kind of glad-handing, you're shaking hands all over the place, and you're just not, eventually it hits a point where there's a point of marginal diminishing returns, where it's not effective to keep going to cocktail parties. You should really be hitting the phones and trying to sell, right?
Yeah. Well, I think what's most important, Greg, is to understand who your best client is, understanding who you're targeting, because you have to remember that networking is a lead generation strategy, right? And before you can go out there and effectively generate leads, you've got to understand who your target is, right? Who you want to market to. Once you've got a clear understanding of who your target is, then you can determine where they are, where they hang out, what clubs they belong to, what networking events they go to, what cocktail parties they go to, and then that's where you want to focus your energies. If you don't have that target, that's when you start spreading yourself too thin.
How do you know that you're at a cocktail party with decision makers and not other networkers? As sad as it sounds, right now you see lots of people who've been laid off from their jobs, and they're going to pink slip parties to try and get jobs, but the only people that are at those pink slip parties are other unemployed people. And it's similar when it comes to these networking events with people trying to, close deals or conventions. Unfortunately, you get a whole convention hall full of salespeople and no buyers.
All right.
How do you know where the decision makers are if you're speaking to the right person?
Well, here's the thing. In a networking environment, again, it's all generating leads, starting to develop relationships. So the coaching in that regard is this. If you understand clearly who your target market is and who you're looking for, then as you're working the party, the networking event, or whatever, you can specifically ask for the type of person or the particular position that you're looking for. So if you're at a pink slip party, for example, and you know you're trying to get into XYZ company, and you come across an executive, or you go out and look for an executive that worked for that company to connect you. So networking is not only going into an event. You and I can network one-on-one as we learn more about who each of our spheres of influence are and who we touch every day.
I think that's what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
I want to find out, for a guy who coaches a lot of businesses, ActionCOACH is the name of your company. You've sold a lot of businesses in the past. What's the state of business right now from your perspective in America?
Well, I think the state of business right now is one of confusion. I think it's one of misunderstanding. But here's and really uncertainty about the future. But one thing I think is really important is that those business people who are focused on their goals and have a clear picture of long-term picture of where they want to go in their business, they're going to succeed through this. My concern in coaching small and medium-sized businesses these days, Greg, is that many of them are taking such a short-term view of their business because they can't get a clear picture of the future, and they're either not making decisions, right, or they're making decisions that are only going to keep them in the business in the short term, even if the economy does turn around.